call the meeting to order. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we're going to start off with the SB SMART awards. So SB stands for Exceptional Student Performance this year. This award is given to students who are doing well academically and have an exceptionally positive attitude about school. They demonstrate respect and responsibility towards staff and their peers. They show courage and not conforming to peer pressure and refuse to accept anyone who goals. The school board and the district want to recognize these students by celebrating their success at the beginning of the board meetings. The students will receive a certificate tonight, and their names will be entered into the drawing for end of the year. In the past, it's been an iPad or something along those lines. So, nice prize for the kids. And Mr. Hoffman is going to pass it out tonight.
Okay, so when I call your name, just come up and grab your certificate, and we'll get a photo of everybody at the end. So we have Victoria Victor from the high school.
She forgot to mention that.
Dylan Hicks from the high school. Riley Caldwell from the junior high. Henry Gaynor, also from the junior high. Miles Lawrence. Talia Tag from Foster. Lori Watley Kaiser from Hawkins. Connor McGuffin. Carter Dixon from Arash Ahmed Janazande. Chloe Kilmaster from Oak Heights. Paisley Baker from the charter school. Tate Landis from charter.
All right. The kids that receive awards, if you want to come up, newspaper usually likes to get a picture. Actually, I think Kevin is going to get a picture for the newspaper.
So make sure you get a little credit. Wouldn't come forward with it.
Come on out here, right there.
Oh, couple little ones in the back. Oh,
Step up.
there we go.
There we go.
You got it. Smile.
She's on for 1, 2, 3.
Nice. Good job.
We'll make sure that the kids that weren't here this evening get properly recognized awards as well. We do recognize this for school night, so if you have kids who want to take it home, we will give it if you do. Want to stay for the rest of the meeting, that's fine. All right, we have nothing to add to the agenda tonight, so I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda. Second. Okay, any discussion? All right, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion passes. I will make a comment right now. We're going to change up the public comments a little bit. We're going to start going back to sticking to policy with some of the public comments so they don't just stretch out and get kind of long. And we're going to try moving them to the end as well of the more along the lines of where the board comments are at in the agenda. So just trying to keep that as concise as we can moving forward. So certified and classified representatives. Steve, how are you tonight?
We're gonna keep these short too.
If you wanna be short,
I'm already there.
I wasn't gonna go there,
I'm
but.
already there. Hey, thanks guys again for being here and serving like you serve. Right now, our schools, part of our core values that we're looking at is gratitude, and I want to just tell you guys about different things. I'm sure that the principals could share more and stuff, but in our social emotional learning that we've been doing, you know, it goes beyond what we're doing, and it's part of curriculum that serves the whole person. And I just want to tell you some things that at the high school that we did with our gratitude is during our homeroom we had a lesson set and we showed a video of gratitude and stuff. But when we put it on the kids to when we gave them the opportunity, and yeah, I broke the cell phone policy. I'll just self-report right now. But when we told them we want you to email or write a letter or shoot a text, and to see and I just told them, you know, we had some canned stuff. You could say, this is why I'm doing this and this is how. But we sent it out. In my class, I said, you guys just speak from your heart. Just, what do you want to say? And if you don't have somebody, you know, you all have a friend. You all have that person. And you know, some of them who maybe didn't have a cell phone or who got their phone taken away, they started emailing. And I had a little girl writing a letter. She was writing it to her sister, and she started crying while she was writing it. And I thought about the amount of trust that is built when you're able to do something like that in a school. Is pretty darn cool. But the text messages that were sent, how many kids sent their thing to their mom or their dad? And the first response, if you would have got a text, it was, is everything okay? I sent my sisters a text a couple months ago, and I just said, hey, love you, sisters. And my sister Julie says, what's wrong? So, you know, but that was the first response. And then they said, no, we're sitting here in Mr. Thorpe's class, and we're focusing on gratitude. And I know that the other schools are doing that, and the letters. And then when I come in and there's a note on my keyboard in my desk, just a note, it's kind of special. And we had a couple substitutes that day, and they didn't really get to that part of the lesson. So when kids were talking about it later on in the day, I said, okay, let's stop the math. Here we go. Let's send something. And then kids got to share. And I just think that's just a huge thing that goes beyond, and it's one of the neat things that we do here. Part of you talk about your one family, you know, one community, we're one family, we're one school. I think that's part of it, and I know the elementary schools are working on that, and kindness, and I don't think everybody can give them ice cream like Darren does, but, you know, they're still, Darren coming around to high school? So, but, no, so that's where we've been this week, and I know that everybody's rallying up now. We're trying to stick it to hunger right now, raising money and food challenges, teacher challenges to build Thanksgiving baskets, you know, because this community, you know, what's neat, when I was activities director, you build a basket and this kid's working side by side, you're working all day and they go shopping with you. And then when their family pulls up, they're the ones getting the basket. It's just cool. It's just a cool place to be. So, but yeah, things are, we're getting into that time when we just started winter sports today. And so basketball, swimming, and competitive cheer and wrestling has all started now. Today it was official, and we'll transition into our next part of it. But that's all I got. Do you guys have any questions for me or anything? Remember, I challenged you the last time about questions, so I didn't know if I'd be ready for them this time.
Real quick comment, Steve, we always call that counting your blessings.
Yes.
You have to start by knowing what you're thankful for in order to be thankful for something.
Oh, absolutely.
And that that's a mindset that then moves on with you through the day.
Well, I sent you count your blessings. I have a very successful wrestling program, and I didn't do it by myself. I've had incredible athletes and young men and now young women who are doing all this stuff for me. But I've had great coaches. And so I sent my coaches a text and just told them I appreciated all they do for me and stuff. Because you can count your blessings, because I couldn't do it by myself. I wouldn't be married still. That's a true story. But we're doing some pretty good things. This is a good place to be. Excited that I'm excited for the levy, the pool levy that continues it now. I'm excited for that to happen. And so, yeah. But on to the winter, man. Ready for the next season and our kids. I wish we didn't have that daylight savings thing, but that's okay. So, but all right, that's good. Am I good? Any questions?
You're excused.
Thanks. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
I do appreciate what you guys are doing. Thank you. Here's that gratitude.
That's right.
Thanks, guys.
I'm out.
I don't see anybody from the classified side here, so I don't see a student here for the student report as well. So I guess we'll go to Terry, superintendent's report.
Okay, thank you. Starting off with our enrollment, you'll see this is the first month that we've hit where we've actually been down as compared to last year. October, this represents the prior month. October is a month of kind of winnowing out the students that are here, the students that have transferred, et cetera. It's not a huge dip. It's not something I'm concerned about, but I bring it up so that, just make us aware of it. Whether this will be a trend now where we're starting to catch up with our neighbor districts that have all been down, or whether we're going to level off, I think we're going to level off. But 2,291 for last month.
I have a question about that. Yeah, is that, would you say that that's just kind of dispersed equally throughout the schools?
It is, and the principals, that's been conversation. It's odd to see that we're down with all of the seemingly new students that we continue to get transferred. Attendance, this month's attendance winner was again Hawthorne, 91% attendance with Hawthorne, so well done, Hawthorne. Spark has some friends, I see just joined us.
Yeah.
Let's see, before I go into the strategic plan progress, I understand you've received emails, but just a reminder, tomorrow night at 7 at the high school library is the National Honor Society induction. And so if you're able to make it, that's meaningful for the kids, students. So tomorrow at 7, seems like years past, about 45 minutes, I think. Yeah. Is what it'll be is for the ceremony. So if you're available, it'd be great if you can make it. Outstanding achievement, the first pillar there. We just finished up with parent-teacher conferences. The elementary schools averaged 94% attendance for conferences. It's not perfect, it's not 100, but 94%, we'll take that every time we can get it, that's really good. Then it starts to drop off in middle school and high school. At the junior high, teachers average 35 conferences per teacher. I think that's still a strong showing for middle school, and we're starting to push back, on that and everything. And the high school reported 769 conferences, which they reported pretty much the average of been a nice turnout for parent-teacher conferences. Number 2, thriving citizen, championing individual strengths and unlocking student potential. I'd ask the administrators what types of things in the number of awards the students are getting. And so Holly reports roughly 100 students per month through character ambassadors, Bailey shout-outs, and student achievement Mondays. At Oak Heights, they recognize about 200 students per month with character awards, positive behavior in the library, lunchroom, and PE, and shout-outs weekly for student and staff. Hawthorne recognizes about 50 students per month for classroom awards, character traits, and the Spark SB Awards. Foster recognizes about 75 students each month, including 3 top classes for best attendance, PAW Slip Awards, Positive Behavior Awards, Spark and SB. The junior high recognizes approximately 100 students per month with shout-outs after each athletic contest for perfect attendance, Tiger Pride, and through Tiger Scholars. And then the high school celebrates between 75 and 100 students per month through Students of the Week, the top 10%, National Honor Society, National Career Readiness, Varsity Letters and Team and Individual Awards, Freshman and Senior Boy-Girl Awards, and attendance recognition. So throughout the district, that's quite a few little positive pieces for our students, which that's important to recognize. Pillar 3 for thriving community with family support. I've asked Christy Walker to present to us on McKinney-Vento and the various outreach programs. Yes, please.
So in our district, we do a lot of family support. And that's a lot of what I do in my job, in my position. The biggest role I have is probably our McKinney-Vento kids, making sure that they are getting their needs met in order to succeed in school. Right now, we have about 145 kids identified. I know that's going to grow. It always does. It takes time and energy to get those kids identified, and all the people that work with me to help identify anywhere from school secretaries to school counselors to our ESD family support people as well. We typically have 10 to 12% of our students that are considered McKinney-Vento. And so it takes up a pretty good chunk. Anywhere from like 200 to 270 is what I've seen in the last 6 years or so that I've been here. McKinney-Vento guarantees critical rights and services for kids that are experiencing homelessness to ensure that they can receive continuous and supportive services so that they can be successful in school. It's a federal mandate in federal law, and so we withhold that to the highest standard. With a great group of dedicated team members with the identification and referring them to a multitude of outside agencies. We refer them to housing, helping with housing, which is really difficult. We have a huge shortage in housing, so our students fill that. We also help them obtain medical insurance, refer them to shelters, medical care, dental care, social security cards. We help them with birth certificates and job searches for the parents. We offer a clothing closet for these students and their families to obtain clothing as needed. Our community generously donates the majority of the items needed to stock that clothing closet, and we do allow any of the families in our district to go ahead and shop at the closet. There's no charge to any of them, and they are more than welcome to come if they have needs. We provide a lot of our mobile children transportation to their school of origin to maintain continuity and familiarity in this area of their lives. We have families who are camping at some of our local county parks and other locations. Due to 14-day limitations, they move around quite a bit. Our transportation department works diligently to get these kids to school during their frequent moves. We are able to provide certification letters that unaccompanied youth can use when applying for their FAFSA. It helps to enable them to apply for college funding without their parents' incomes, where normally they wouldn't be able to apply for that. I also work with our pregnant and parenting teens, and I am happy to say that our numbers have taken a huge dip. And that's not a bad thing.
No.
So I don't know what to credit that with, but we'll take it. When I began with the district in 2017, we had about 10 pregnant and parenting teens. Last year I had one who graduated early, and the year before that I only had one as well. So we hope this is a continuing trend. So that's been a good thing. I also work to track the kids in foster care within the district. In my foster care point of contact position, I collaborate with DHS agencies and arrange for school record releases, notifying schools of children who go into foster care, and I also arrange transportation for those kids to go to their school of origin as well. We currently have 7 children in protective custody, and if the normal trend continues, I expect that to increase. It often does around the holidays or right after. Unfortunately, that seems to be a time when it kind of grows. We typically have 15 to 20 students that are in foster care, and like I said, right now we only have about 7, so I do expect that trend to continue up. Do you have any questions?
So you work for the district?
I do work for
Okay.
the district.
And
Yes.
do you have an office in here?
I have in student
Part of-
services, yes.
You certainly seem to have a heart for the kids, and so thank you. This seems like a really challenging position, and thank you for all you do.
Thank you, I appreciate that. Thank you for having me tonight.
Do we have any kids at Jackson?
I do, yes. That's pretty typical. I think right now I've only got 2, and that's not a huge amount, so and that often increases throughout the year too. Jackson Street's a great agency that I love working with. They help provide even food boxes and hygiene stuff too for kids, and showers if they're needed, and
We're fortunate to have Christy working for us.
Yep.
Does a tremendous job. What you're seeing here, functioning at a very high level. There's a lot of services that she's able to coordinate for our kids.
thank you. Appreciate that.
And floor 4, safe and welcoming facilities and service. Josh?
Couple of updates for you guys on some projects that we got going. Oak Heights first. So that one, with the seismic, and you guys had the special meeting to approve the contractor we chose. So, and currently, the engineer is working on their documents to work through with the contractor. They've been out doing testing. They drilled, I don't know how many holes in the ground to do the soils test. They're cutting some block out to see exactly how to fasten some block. They're blocking a couple spots there. They're doing their things, kind of a new tech thing that we haven't done at any of the other seismics. They're going to do, actually, they already did. They sent a guy out, and he actually went through with a robot. They called it the dog, but it was like the guy this time. It wasn't the actual dog. There's one that you just hit and go, and it's like a Roomba, and it will go throughout the entire school. And this one guy actually had to move it from class to class, but it does the whole 3D look of every wall. So you can go in and walk through the school then. Keeps them from missing something, and if there's contractor questions, they can quickly answer by just going in to this room, and they're looking at both the exact same thing on the wall. So it's kind of a pretty cool thing that they did. The other thing is, we're still a little ways away from the next bond or something we're gonna do, because we talked about wanting to do something on the high school. One thing we learned from the junior high is we pushed that one so close that we were scrambling to get all the documents and everything done when we were trying to do construction. And so we're kind of trying to be proactive on this one. We've, money, what was the money from? It was it's paying the architect so far, it was grant.
Yeah, we had a grant for a long-range facility plan, and we funded the work in-house,
Right.
which is now allowing us to use the remainder of the grant to have the architect do some extra work for us.
So he's doing a bunch of preliminary stuff for the high school. So we've met with him several times, talked about dreams, ideas, different things that we're thinking. We met today with him, and it's looking like I'm excited. It's gonna be cool. So I'm hoping maybe we can either, I mean, it might be a long time sharing if I try to do a board sharing thing with it. Maybe we can do a workshop or something, and we can go through and you guys can give feedback, and we can just talk through the ideas that we're looking at. It would be a fun thing for the future. Talk about, but I'm excited about it, and that's the direction we're heading. Any questions there? Me? All right, thanks.
Thank you, Joshua. The part of the back conversation there with the high school, it's a very porous campus. There's way too many classrooms that you can drive right up to. And essentially, it's a, Southern California style campus. And with the additional security needs and things that we have today, there's a lot of work that's going to need to be done there. So that's why that one was coming up. So that concludes my portion. Any questions for me?
All right, thanks, Jerry. Next, we have the consent agenda. So approve the minutes from the October 9, 2023 school board meeting and the October 16, 2023 special board meeting, and accept a donation from Sweet Home Elks Lodge for gift cards from Safeway and Walmart.
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? I will ask, because I'm sure everybody's wondering, what are the gift cards used for?
How much is it?
Yeah, Christine.
Yeah, absolutely.
Does it say 5,000?
So they provide, gift cards to us quite often, but the gift cards that they send to us are to help families when they need like clothing or shoes, specialized shoes that they have, they help with medication, groceries, anything that they come to me with a need for, I can determine if it's a necessity or not. And what I love about the Walmart gift cards, by the way, they got for us, is it says it's not, you cannot use them to purchase alcohol, tobacco, or firearms.
And the total amount donated was?
About $1,000.
Nice.
That's what I thought. Elks continues to be a really good sponsor for us. They do a tremendous amount of good things for the kids. So if you're an elk, thank you. If you know an elk or an elk pet, pass along your thanks. They do a really nice job for us.
Is this an annual thing that happens?
I don't know that it happens.
Different things that help us, I mean, it can vary. Sometimes they'll donate underwear and socks, and a couple pairs of shoes or something.
They've done shoe drives.
Will call me and say, hey, what do you guys need? And I said, you know what, really, it's a gift card.
Okay.
They do school supplies each year. They have a big
Back to
event there.
school.
Boat drives and shoe drives.
Yeah.
I think something that we missed was the veterans essay. And it goes into a competition, and kids can write it from elementary on through 12th, and they get scholarships. So maybe we can think about that for next year.
All right, any other discussion on the consent agenda? All right, hearing none, all in favor? Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. Information and discussion, budget update, Kevin.
Okay, it's Jason, item 6A in the board packet. We have now completed first performance this school year. General fund spending through October 31st is at $6,578,800. That's just over $659,000 above the same time period last year. The major reasons for that, higher labor expenses, we don't open positions. Plus, we have negotiated salary, wage, and benefit increases included. Charter school payments are up this year over last year, and also our liability and property insurance premiums are higher this year than they were last year. Overall, though, we're on target to stay within this year's budget.
Are charter school payments up because enrollment's up?
Two reasons. One, enrollment, but also just the state school fund payments are up this year, and so the amount that we receive per student is higher, and the amount we pass on to the charter school is higher.
Any questions for Kevin? All right. Student investment account report.
After this one also, several years ago, the legislature legislature passed the Student Success Act, and included with the Student Success Act, the funds for school districts, and it's called the Student Investment Account. ODE wants each school district to present an annual report to this board, showing how that money was spent, and also answering some questions that ODE has developed. And so tonight we are presenting to you the 22-23 Student Investment Account Annual Report. You can see it starts at a picture. One of the things that we've done is we've eliminated data play and data big fees, and sometimes it used to be that schools would collect money for field trips. We're not doing that now. And so you see kids last year going to Discovery Days at Oregon State University, and so the funds help pay for that. But they've done a lot more, so if you go to one of the inside pages, you'll see a spending report that accounts for how the SIA money was spent. And then following that is the narrative section where you see the questions from ODE, and then we've done our best as staff to answer those questions. And so really, we're get additional questions from you as the board. Otherwise, we ask that later on you approve the SIA report.
You want to approve it right now with a motion?
It's an action item a little later on.
So with the pay to play, is that something that we will continue?
That's the plan. Yeah, I mean that's something for you as the board. It really ultimately is your decision, because each year, there are budget requests, and but it was established, the intent is to keep it that way. And so as long as you as the board support that, that's how we continue the budget plan.
So pay to play, just to clarify, just means that they get to go on field trips at no cost.
Not just field trips, the big one is extracurricular activities, where it used to be that there was a charge if you wanted to participate in extracurricular activity. And I think we've seen that, junior high, and this is a good problem, but the participation levels have skyrocketed to the point where we built a brand new gym in junior high school, and right now you're out of space because you have too many kids training out for winter sports.
There's 60 kids in basketball. At the high school, you didn't see it the right way, but it has carried from the junior high. Drew's going to have to make cuts for the first time in close to a decade in that school. Junior high is 60 in basketball. It's a good problem.
Do kids in the districts, and this might be more for principals, still have to do any type of fundraising, like sell the meat sticks and stuff like that? There's some.
Only for certain.
Sometimes like certain like where you have more media budgets, so they're definitely doing lots of fundraisers for that. But what this was where we used to, if you turned out for an extracurricular activity, we just charged flat fee for that, eliminating the absence. That's what happens.
Kevin, could you define, it says alternative education salaries. What exactly is alternative education?
What that is, sometimes for some students that might be more successful outside of, your regular classroom or whatever reason. So that's all the staffing in those programs for kids that, for a variety of reasons, might be better outside of the traditional class. Okay.
Can we talk about this page with the money real quick?
Sure.
Okay, so it's 6B, that's page 2. So the mental health salaries, are those new positions, or have they been here
We have added, counseling positions, so those are new positions.
Are these like certified counselors or, okay. And are they at the high school, the junior high school? Or?
We added, last year we added one at the high school, we also added the junior high school. Yeah.
So there's a counselor at the junior high school and the high school? And this is,
We have multiple counselors, but these are more specialized.
right, because you've got your, like your academic counselors that'll help with, but this is more mental health, behavioral? If a student goes in for mental health counseling with one of these counselors, are parents notified? Okay, very cool. This social emotional learning, is that, I'm so terrible with names, was referring to like that social emotional gratitude curriculum and such? Okay, Steve, perfect. And then the campus monitor salary, is that like a,
Those were some classified positions that were added to just kind of help assist, and making sure that kids are staying on campus and doing what they're supposed to be doing.
yeah, it feels like it should be more.
Trying to avoid anything.
So is there any way we can have more go in there?
We're still lacking candidates, right?
Oh, huh.
That
You
can-
know, if you have, we're still, we can use great applicants for the school districts, so it's like way there, for young people to be interested.
And that's a classified position?
Encourage them to apply.
And they just make sure kids stay on campus?
Well, that's part, we have a lot of community instructional assistants, we need bus monitors, we can still have, behavior support. We have lots of positions still that we would like to fill.
If that's the case, would you be able to get more than 30,000 from either in here or from someplace else to be able to pay them?
We have money in our general fund that's budgeted that, we still do have some unfilled positions. And so, I would say credit to our school staff.
Yeah.
A lot of people are essentially doing 2 or 3 jobs right now, when we're still short of some staff positions.
Where are we advertising for jobs? Just on the website or?
Primarily on the website, yeah, we use social media posts and, if you know, sometimes word of mouth.
Yeah.
can-
Everybody hear that out there?
So,
Anybody want a job?
So Kevin, it's a little under $2 million, which is awesome, I guess. I mean, it's, but is there any kind of a guarantee from the state that we're going to continue to get that? Or is it a 20-year plan, a 5-year plan, or is it just a discretionary, if they happen to have the extra cash, they throw it at us? What's the story behind this grant?
great question. This is funded, you remember, and I know that this is, that the legislature passed the CAT, corporate activity tax, and so the money from this is coming from the corporate activity tax. And so I would say that it's fairly stable and probably as long as the economy continues to grow, assuming it continues.
So as long as we still have a little corporate activity in the state, then.
Yes, it will increase. There are parts of Oregon where, So, thank you, for all the residents, we're all paying corporate activities tax, and so we're all contributing to this.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying.
I have a question on the charter. Is their curriculum meet the Swindon School District curriculum for those kids? Like, I know that some of that's tuition, some of that's volunteer time. At each level, is there like they're meeting the curriculum that our kids in district over here are meeting the same? It's different, like,
Yeah.
smaller.
I'll maybe take the first attempt to answer that, but anyone else feel free and argue and back there too.
Feel free to jump on the sword.
The charter school operates fairly independent. Yeah, on curriculum, and so, there are things we have to provide special education services. We were kind of a fiscal agent where we pass through funds there, but for a lot of the day-to-day operations, they're acting independently.
They do still have to meet the same state standards though for curriculum. So it isn't like they can go do whatever they want to. They still have basic standards that have to be met. It's just a
For
different
the
way.
state of Oregon?
What's that?
For the
Yeah,
state of
yeah.
Oregon?
It's a different way of going about it.
So the questions 1, 2, 3, and 4, that's what you're sending the state?
Correct.
It looks like you all did a really good job with the money, the way that you wrote this. It's just amazing.
Right back to the board is really, it's the board that establishes the budget.
So is it, Kevin, is this the first year we've got this grant, or is this,
No, this is a continuing.
so it started in,
It started during the pandemic when we started
Okay.
to receive the funds.
Oh.
And so, yeah, it ramped up in dollar amounts, but I'd say the past 2 or 3 years have been relatively stable.
All right, any other questions on the student investment account? All right, and we will be looking at that later as a action item, so. Next, we have board policies. This is a first reading on these policies, so it's, should be given out to each of you in your packet, so take the time to review those. If you have any questions, if you want to get with Terry, and then he can distribute the information out to everybody on the board so that we all have the same information. That's generally the easiest way to go with it. Something comes up, you got a question about something or whatever it might be, work with him. He may be able to explain it to you, or if there's something that we want to look at changing or whatever, he can get that information out to everybody to go through that. So again, this is a first reading. We'll bring them back next month for a second reading. We can approve them at that point, but it has to be unanimous. And then the third reading would come the month after that, and it would be a majority of the board at that point to approve them.
So the instructions that you just told us about contacting Terry, is that the way it's always, it's,
Yep,
Okay.
yep, that's the way we've always done it.
and just in
So,
an email, and do we CC each other?
you
or-
can email or call or whatever, and the danger of CCing the rest of the board is that ends up becoming a public meeting. So,
So we're all collaborating on some issue, but
Correct.
Got it.
we violated public meeting
Okay.
law.
Right, yep.
Even just a CC without a reply, that's, okay.
Yep.
Yep.
Got it.
I mean, I send stuff to a city council, and I will say, please don't reply.
Mhm.
If you have questions, contact me or the city.
But it's,
But our staff in that.
if Terry sends it out, it's okay.
If Terry sends it out, it's okay, but us,
And Terry will send out basically just information. It's the channel at which information goes out.
and it
So,
it was last month, but Oregon government had started taking complaints and regulating them.
Harder,
Huh?
harder.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of a, you know, it's kind of a gray area then, and now they're clearly. And
yep, so any questions, get with Terry on those. He'll be able to answer them and then make sure the rest of the board gets the same answers, basically. So he'll get, this is the question that came up, this was the answer to that. So that's the flow of information around this, so.
And by doing that, he's having us avoid ex parte contact, that one of us do something that nobody else will.
Correct.
So when you go to him with the question, he says, this was the question, generally, this is the answer. So we all have that information, make the same decision,
So
is kind of the thought there.
it's, comes to an effect, like a citizen comes to you with a question,
Mhm.
refer it to Terry so that Because once you start going down that rabbit hole too far, then if you're asked, it's ex parte.
All right, next we got the action items. So the only one we have tonight is approve the student investment account annual report.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All right, hearing none. All in favor? Any opposed? All right, motion passes. All right, so we'll move on to the public comments, and just so that we're all on the same page, the board policy on public comments is that they should be requested in writing. So we have a form over here that can be filled out. That needs to be gotten to, I believe Julie will handle those and then get those to me. That doesn't mean that nobody else can talk, but we're just trying to make sure that we're following policy on these things instead of having a free-for-all. So we will be limiting to 3 minutes, just so that interest of time. And then we also ask that if you have a group and everybody's going to touch on the same thing, you get a spokesperson so that we don't sit and go through the same thing over and over. We've been there before with some of the public comments where somebody will get up and echo the last person or whatever. And so the idea is not to shut down public comment and feedback. The idea is just to simply make sure that we're moving forward with the meeting and time is followed properly. So at this point, I will open up for any public comments.
Just to clarify,
Yeah.
so am I okay to read the packet that I brought for you guys? Or-
I would ask, we do have a policy around written,
Okay.
and that is to be submitted through the superintendent's office. The reason for that is, again, the same thing as with those questions. You come into a meeting, give everybody here written, whatever it might be, and somebody's not here, they may not get it. And so that just, again, keeps that flow of information going to everybody. And his direction is just simply take that in, distribute it to everybody across the board so that everybody has that information. It won't be blocked, won't be censored, nothing like that. It just, that's the function, to make sure that everybody on the board has the same information when it comes in. So, all right.
And to refresh my recollection, there's some kind of form.
Yes, there's a form. It's generally back there on that table next to the door. Just a quick little form, kind of to fill out your name and all the information, relevant information, so that we can keep it on record. And yeah.
And they do that when they come in, and then they can
Yep.
speak that day? Okay.
Yep. And then get those to Julie, and she'll be able to get them to me so that when we get to that point, we can go through and it's just trying to keep from having a little bit of what we had last meeting, where we just had a long rambling situation and kept people here longer than we probably needed to in that. So that's the only reason for it. So we do appreciate everybody's input and feedback, and this is an important part of the meetings. We want to make sure we continue it, but we need to corral it back in a little bit and make sure we're following policy. So, all right. Do we have any board comments tonight? Hearing none?
Hold on,
Yes.
thinking. This is not sitting well about this 3 minutes, because you used the term rambling on, and I kind of felt like last time we had a really constructive conversation, and people left here, I thought, feeling pretty happy. We had said, so I just, 3 minutes, it sounds like, that's it, time's over. Is there-
It's 3 minutes is not meant to cut anybody off. It's meant to bring things to a point.
So if someone's in the middle of a sentence, or a thought, they're not gonna.
It's not going to be, we cut the microphone. I think that I have a record as chairman of allowing things to be said.
Yes.
I do not want to be cutting people off, but at the same time, we need to make sure that we don't end up getting into these situations where it's just a free-for-all and somebody comes in and co-opts the whole meeting, and we spend a bunch of time on one person's concern, maybe, or, something like that. So that's the purpose of this. It's in policy. We're trying to follow the policy. And so there is no requirement of public comment as a part of the meetings. It is something that most boards do. Some boards do it every 3 months or other things like that. So I feel like, we represent the public. That's our job here, is to represent the public. And so I don't want to shut that down at all, but I want to make sure that make sure that everybody's thinking about what they're going to say before they come in, and bring the information to the board as concisely as possible, instead of just getting up here and we've had situations where people have tried to showboat from there. We had a guy that came in and claimed he cured cancer with peach pits. So some of those that have been here for a little while can remember that one. And he wasn't even a member of the community. He was from outside of the community someplace.
Yeah.
And he
No,
was
I
upset
understand.
with
Absolutely, I agree.
with other
We need
things.
A format,
So-
and I agree with that.
But it also.
Yep.
It sounded like it was just
And
harsh.
it doesn't have to be minutes. I mean, I know, my city council does 3 minutes or 5 minutes, but, it can be 3 or 5, or 8, whatever the policy is. And I think the idea is that it's content control speech. By setting a definite period of time, I'm not saying we're gonna let you talk, but we don't like what you say, we're not gonna let you talk. So everybody has their certain amount of time.
That's what I was gonna get into, is if you give one person 20 minutes, you have to give everybody 20 minutes.
Now, I suppose if
So,
somebody's got something really interesting to say, and they're going over their 3 minutes, and we're all kind of enthralled, somebody can make a motion and say, can we give this guy 10 minutes, that can be seconded, we can vote on it?
Well,
I mean, there might be somebody that might have something that goes over 3 minutes.
and I would
don't
say from my position where I'm at, if we run into that situation where we're getting something, somebody comes in here with the actual cure for cancer, and we all want to hear about it.
Say, put them on the agenda as an item.
Well, yeah, there are ways to deal with that. But again, we're trying to bring things back to established rules, established practices, and then make that more the exception than just people thinking they can come in here and co-opt, 20 minutes, half hour.
I understand
of our
the
time.
reasoning
So-
behind the policy, but there's got to be, I'm the exception guy. I don't know if you know that, if you've noticed that yet or not, but I want to know, what's the recourse? Yeah, great, 3 minutes is great, but if there's something that's really super interesting, or that is really important or poignant to what's happening in our meeting, there's got to be a way to say, hey, can we give this guy a couple more minutes? You know what I mean? And I don't think that's unreasonable. I mean, is that something, you can pretty much make a motion and get a second and a vote on it for just about anything, right? More or less.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it may never get invoked, but it's nice to
Yeah.
have a back door.
Yep. Well, and I hope from my position here, I hope that I'm aware of those things and don't cut somebody off when
Right.
there's something important being brought forward. The other side of that is it's not a time for board discussion. We're taking the feedback and we're tied to the agenda and what's been posted and some things like that in order for board to have discussion, especially action around things. So, well, yeah, we actually have a time limit on board meetings as well. And so we've run long of that a few times, not recently.
So if there's a big concern, can they take it to Terry, and then Terry?
Absolutely.
We add the officers in their meeting, can add it to the agenda for them to speak about?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, good.
yeah, that's always an option, is to, bring things to the board officers. And
I think that's where you get have stuff written down to get to him so that it can get to everybody and we can all be more knowledgeable before we start hearing somebody talk so we can ask the right questions.
And through COVID, we had nights where we had 30 or 40 people talk. So, it does happen. It's rare, but it does happen. So, again, we just want to make sure that we're staying within those fences that have been set under board policy and try to keep everything even across board. Yes?
Just one public comment.
Yeah.
I stand about 5 foot, and I know that I wasn't the shortest person here. I just want to point that out.
But you didn't get an ESPY award, he did. Ouch. All right, we have no late items tonight, so future agenda items, next board officers meeting is Thursday, November 30th at 3:30 in the superintendent's office, so keep that in mind. If you have something you want to submit to be put on the agenda, do so before then, please. Next board meeting is December 11th, 2023, 6:30 here. And a reminder, winter vacation is December 18th through January 1st. Teachers, I'm sure, will be enjoying that well-earned time off. So, yeah, it is. It is. All right, and we're adjourned.